This past year and our experience with COVID has changed the church landscape significantly. Throughout this series, we are going to look at the book of Acts being a blueprint and what it means to have intentional church life and growth experience in this post-pandemic era. In this chapter, we are going to look at what evangelism really means. We have identified the difference between evangelism and outreach and missions. Evangelism is when we are making disciples of Jesus Christ and we seek to invite people to be part of our Christian community. Outreach and mission is when we are seeking to worship Jesus through acts of service. These two have very different intents and outcomes. While we always strive to invite people to Jesus and our church, the primary difference is our expectations. When we do evangelism, our expectations are for inviting people to Jesus and our church. In outreach and mission work, our expectations should be that we are doing the effort as an act of worship to Jesus. Therefore, we do not have any expectations that people will come to know Jesus or walk through our church doors as a result of what we are doing. When we have incorrect expectations regarding outreach and mission work, then the outcomes do not materialize and we become frustrated and discouraged. This is why it is important to make sure that we identify the purpose for each event and clearly understand what our expectations are. There are two ways to grow a church. The first is by people who come to our church as existing believers and have left their prior church for various reasons. This is not expanding the kingdom. This is merely reshuffling the deck, so to speak. This is not to say that these people are not important. They are, but it does not fall in the realm of evangelism. The second way to grow a church is through evangelism. This is when unchurched people or non-practicing Christians become actively involved in our church life. They may not choose to dedicate their lives to Christ right away, but they are seeking for more information before making a decision. Today, when looking at the religious landscape, the largest growing section are the nones, N-O-N-E-S. These are people who define themselves as being religiously unaffiliated Americans. A large majority of them are made up of people who are not seeking religion in their lives. Studies also indicate that between 10 to 15% of this section of people have left the church due to feeling discouraged. Evangelism isn't a salvation prayer and then move on to the next person. That might have been the approach years ago, but today it is about building relationships in the community and seeking opportunities to share our faith through both our words and actions. You can all take a deep breath. The day of going door to door is over. However, you must be willing to take advantage of any door that the Holy Spirit opens. Today, evangelism looks like this. Imagine that you are eating out and your waiter or waitress is very engaging and approachable. Ask them if they are from Omaha, or find a way to open the door for conversation that moves beyond what your order might be. Perhaps they're not engaging and approachable. Perhaps they look flustered and overwhelmed. Then you can open the conversation by saying how much it looks like they've had an overwhelming work shift. Be engaging with them every time they come to your table. Then when they bring the check, thank them for serving you and tell them that it was nice to meet them. Let them know that if they ever need anything at all, that they can find you at Faith Christian Church. Now, they might ask more about the church, such as where are you located, or what are you guys like, or what are you into, what style of worship do you have? I've had that happen. Or they might just look at you and walk away, and that's fine. But the seed has been planted, and the Holy Spirit now has something to work with. Now, whenever the Holy Spirit nudges them closer to God, they now have a name of a church, where before they might not have. They've also had a personal invite, instead of just going to Google and typing in church. This is what evangelism looks like today. This was very simple, and it was with a stranger. It was non-threatening for them, and it was non-threatening for you. Do you think you're up to the task? This week we explore what it means to be a seeker-friendly church. Are you ready? Because I bet the Holy Spirit is.